Hey guys, you're listening to Alex Callan on the Faction Radio. Today we are super stoked to be on the phone with Nick Wilkinson, the lead singer of We Set Signals. Nick, how's it going, man?
Going good, man. Going good.
So you guys have had a really, really busy 2020. I mean, you've got an album coming out in about a month or a couple of weeks, and you've just brought out the fourth single for the year, Meet Me at Starlight Drive. How's it been for you? Like, that's mental.
Surprisingly, it's been a busy year. I thought the pandemic would slow things down, but, when it hit, it kind of gave us the time to really invest in getting the content right. And so, we've been flat out trying to get all these music videos sorted out for singles and get everything lined up. So, it's been a busy one.
Definitely. And, the response has been mental so far. Like, Meet Me at Starlight Drive was released on Spotify kind of only about 2 weeks ago, and it's already on about 60,000 plays, which is incredible.
Yeah, I can't believe it, man. There's a lot of love out there, and I'm surprised how much it's taken off. We're really loving it. We're really enjoying that people are enjoying it, so it's good.
Mm-hmm. No, beautiful. I'm glad to hear, and because the song actually features Alex Pasibi. I don't want to mispronounce his last name there. The lead vocalist of Ostasia, who is also like a label mate of you guys. How did that kind of connection come about?
Yeah, so for those people who have heard the song, it kind of comes out of the second chorus into this really long, riffy guitar part. And we were trying to workshop a few things here and there, and it just wasn't hitting the spot. And so we thought we need something that sounds really different. And we'd just seen that our label had signed a band called Ostasia over in the States. And we heard this guy sing, and he had that Sleeping with Sirens, Killing Quinn vibe. And so we hit up our A&R director and said, can we get him on a track? So he connected us, and we talked to him back and forth for a little bit. And, he was really happy to jump on it. And he really vibed with where the song was coming from. So he was happy to put something together and get on the track.
And because he is an Ostasia, they are, am I right in saying they're an American-based act? Because the label that you guys share is actually an American label, Triumphant Records?
That's correct. They're based out of LA.
Yeah, so, that's kind of a really awesome way to, I suppose, link the scenes for, like, both American and Australia in a big way.
Yeah, I think so. We've got... they're always peering in here over in Australia and picking us up, and they pick up a few other bands. So it's good that we can create that bridge across the Pacific just to have that music varying between the two countries. It's done a world of good for us, that's for sure.
I suppose in terms of, music and varying between countries, a couple of things caught my eye in the actual film clip for Meet Me at Starlight Drive. The first being one of the guitarists wearing a rabbit hole Huckabee long sleeve, and then another member wearing a Japanese shirt that says hentai. I was wondering, did you guys tour Japan at a point, or?
We haven't toured Japan yet, but it's definitely on the bucket list. Two of our guys, those two guys in question, they love Japan. They're massive fans. Our guitarist, Zach, is always over there on snowboarding trips, and our bassist, Shane, is just going there for the culture. He loves it. If he had a choice, he would be Japanese. I'm sure of it.
Well, it's Shane in the hentai shirt?
Shane's in the hentai, yeah.
Okay, so for listeners who aren't super familiar, it's more than an animated porn genre. Hentai is actually the Japanese word for pervert, so... It's a lot more common word in Japan than Australian people would think. But that caught my eye, to be honest, Nick. I actually lived in Huckabee at the start of the year, so as soon as I saw that rabbit hole shirt, I was like, fuck, like, that's only bought one place in the world. Like, that's pretty mental. So, no, it's crazy that he must have been over there snowboarding as well.
He goes there all the time, man, and we have little off seasons with the band where he thinks about going over there and working the snow season and then coming back here. So he's got a very adventurous mind, our guitarist. It's good. It's great. I love it.
No, that's unreal, man. Well, if he ever gets a chance, it's pretty awesome opportunity. So I'd definitely push that. But back to We Set Signals, because I do get really sidetracked in interviews all the time. So all these singles coming out this year are off your upcoming album Auto, and I'm going to quickly explain what auto means. So it's a Latin musical term, and the exact web definition is a musical phrase constructed from one or more statements of a rhythmic pattern or an ending in a rest. So was that something that you guys really took on board when you were writing this album?
Yeah, it was. It started out, this thing became a concept album. It didn't start out as one. We wrote a few songs, and I was playing a PlayStation game completely post-apocalyptic based, and I sat there thinking, it'd be really cool to write an album about a guy that predicted the end of the world. So we started tailoring the songs to suit that a little bit more, and these things start pushing out a statement. We have our own political views, but I just love that pop culture. I love that post-apocalyptic vibe, and I found it really easy to relate lyrics to it. And so we just took our time with it so we could structure the songs so that they would work and they would tell the story properly.
I'm so incredibly interested to hear the whole story, because there are only being 4 singles out at the moment, and not all of them being, the chronological order of the track listing, even though quite a few of them are. You kind of get disjointed pieces of this story. So I'm wondering, in terms of the male character predicting the end of the world, how does he approach that? I mean, is it in a Sarah Connor type sense where everyone thinks that he's crazy? Do people believe him? It starts out like that. We've got to, firstly, at the end of the day, you don't get to pick your singles. Your label picks your singles and out of what, from their own personal experience, what they think is going to get the most streams and the most popularity. So we're really relying on the album coming out here and people listening to it in that narrative content. When our protagonist, and it could be male or female, we didn't define it, it's all good. When our protagonist starts having these dreams about the end of the world, people start thinking he's crazy. But at the end of the day, the protagonist is a smart character. They know that if they say too much too quickly, they're going to be labeled as crazy. And it's kind of teetering towards the uprising of that cult leader that can see it all coming to an end and is going to take people into the new world and form his own new life around that. And so, I would relate lyrics to, I experienced a fair bit of insomnia, and I thought one of the things that might keep you up at night a lot is, having nightmares and predictions about the end of the world. And so we started off, the album starts with this track called Give Me a Sign, and that is all about me and my experience with insomnia, but pushed into the protagonist's world, experiencing dreams of the world ending and things like that. It's an incredible story that you've managed to pen down and then put into music. I'm really kind of caught off guard by that and can't wait to hear it. I am really interested, I suppose, with how you said the band doesn't get to choose the singles, and you can only hope that people do go out and manage to hear the entire concept album in its entirety. I suppose, is that a consideration, making a concept album in a day and age with Spotify and singles and, algorithmic playlists and things like that?
Yeah, you've always got to take it into consideration, because at the end of the day, the music business is about selling music and selling streams, but it doesn't mean it can take your creative direction away. We wanted to do something different. We wanted to, I'm a writer, first and foremost. Yeah, I write songs, but I'm very big into any type of storytelling. And so this time round, we just thought it'd be really cool to pack this all into an album and see how we go with it. So I guess you just take that as a risk. You've got to get the singles out, you've got to do the thing. But when it comes album time, that's when everyone can enjoy the concept, So fortunately for us, we've been able to push the idea that this is going to be a concept album. Make sure you get out there, grab the album, listen to it from start to finish, and see how you feel. You know.
Definitely, with concept albums, like I'll urge listeners to do the same because you really need to hear it in its entirety. I feel, and I really love that you do kind of specify that you're a writer first and foremost. I suppose do you also spend time kind of writing narratives outside of music?
Oh, I'm not so much writing narratives, but I do script write. I dabble in a bit of filmmaking and production, so I'm always keeping my eye open for the next cool thing that I could film. And if not that, pocketing it into a transcript that might work for a music video. So I'm big on the visuals. I'm big on storytelling with visuals. And thinking about the album when we put it together, I basically had a music video written for each song. If the label was like, I need you to do a music video for this track, boom, it's done. I can do it easily.
Well, and obviously listeners have just heard how integral you are in that sense, but what they don't know is all of the tracks on Auto, the upcoming album, were written, recorded, produced, mixed, and mastered by you, as well as, these film clip ideas and things like that. I mean, that's an incredible amount of responsibility to take on.
It is. I filmed and directed all the music videos as well. So, yeah.
Well, shit, that be added to the press release as well. But how are you finding the time? And, I mean, all these expertise, I know nowadays half the people kind of study sound engineering and production. Other half of people managed to learn it off YouTube. Was that something that you had studied previously?
I was a YouTube guy. I've been producing for about 15 years now, and it came about because bands I was in just never had any money for studio time, and so I started picking up the craft and learning about it and working on it. And I'm still learning. You're always still learning as a producer and a mixer and a mastering engineer. And I guess for us in this sense, we're really entering a time in our life where we have to prioritize where our money goes, and money's tight for bands everywhere. So we really had to just kind of do it in-house. And so we decided that, I've got the studio, we'll just do it all there and we'll get it all done there. And, look, it's come out okay. I'm happy with it. I'm content with it. Obviously, if we had the budget, you would get someone who is just a professional, recording engineer to do that, and then you'd pay the mixing engineer, then you'd pay the mastering engineer, then you'd pay the film clip guy, and look, you'd probably come out with a product that is just amazing. But look, I'm happy with what we've got. I'm happy with what's come out for the budget that we spent, which was pretty much $0. And the thing that it costs the most is my time. And it costs all of us the time. It's not easy, but that's what we do to sacrifice things for the things we love,
Definitely. No, I couldn't agree more. And, I actually really, really liked the Meet Me at Starlight Drive-In film clip, because I feel a lot of the time I'm watching film clips that will have a wide shot of the band playing as it is in the film clip, and then they just add in a rogue storyline that kind of actually is shown over maybe 30% of the film clip. And I really like that it kind of stripped it back. It's more so about highlighting the band. I think it's a really good clip.
It was at first we kind of did have that, we had the B-roll, we had a bit of a storyline, we had that stuff, and when it came to editing, the close-up shots and the movement and the energy just seemed to work. The camera work just seemed to work so well with the energy of the song, and so there really didn't seem any point to throw any extra seasoning on it than it's already got. That's perfect. Let's leave it like that. We had long shots, we had far away shots. What we ended up with was just the close-up of everyone just continuously throughout the song with a few cutaways here and there, and it just seemed to work out really well.
Yeah, I think it did really work out well. I really was impressed with it as a film clip. And, lyrically, it's kind of a bit of a different approach. I mean, you're talking about, and you'll be able to explain it better than me, Nick, but kind of alternative music and makeup. Yeah, are you protesting that you want to be in the top 40, or is it anti-top 40?
Oh, I have to be so careful when I say stuff like this because I'm not an idiot. I know how the music machine works. It makes money like any other company would make money. So it has to exist. I'm just someone that has grown up always on the alternative side of music, and I'm just turn on the radio these days, and it's really hard for me to really identify with who's actually on because it's all starting to sound the same. So that's what pushed me into that world. Now, the concept behind those lyrics really is there's a point in your band where you actually start, feeling like you're making it. And making it can be subjective to anyone's perspective. But to me, it's when people are starting to notice and people are asking you for, different pieces of merchandise or when you're going to put this out on vinyl. And so when that's happening, it feels good. So the thing I found when this first started happening for us was that I'd been trying so hard to get into the spotlight with the band that by the time you get there, you're just exhausted and you don't care anymore. And so I had to reteach myself to enjoy the little things and enjoy the little wins because, it can get very exhausting chasing your dreams, very exhausting. And often you're just running off your hopes and dreams trying to get there. So this song is about chasing your dreams and feeling exhausted once you finally get there,
Yeah, no, definitely. And, I think it's pretty incredible how you managed to have an album that conceptually follows a theme and then also kind of tie in these personal inner monologues to certain songs. It's a really cool contrast.
It took a while to piece together, but we got there.
It's all just the writing background. I mean, it reminds me of Jordan, I think his name is, from Live Dispute or LA Dispute,
right.
How you want to pronounce that, where he was just a poet that ended up fronting kind of a punk hardcore band. And, some of those lyrics, are pretty insane. And, I really kind of think it's a bit the same with We Set Signals, where people will have to kind of go out, get the album and read the lyrics in liner notes.
Yeah, well, I'm very humbled by that comparison. I appreciate that.
No worries at all. Well, thank you so much, Nick, for having a chat. As I said, the new album, Auto, comes out on September 25th. Pre-orders are available through We Are Triumphant Records. So listeners, go out and get a copy of that. Listen to the album back to front because it is a concept album. And, thank you so much for having a chat, Nick.
All right, thanks very much, man.